Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of
A BJJ Marriage, where we talk about our lives as a married Jiu Jitsu couple. Did it. You know, it's kind of interesting to me that you said you're not good at cartwheels, because you're so much shorter to the ground. I just feel like you would have an easier time because you don't have much of you to throw over.
You would think that, but like, I think I do really great, but then I look at a recording, I'm like, no, not so much. It's like, I think my legs are straight and they're actually like this bad.
That is funny. I'm not good at cartwheels either, so we should do a cartwheel, like, off to each other and just see who's worse at it.
Nick can be the judge.
Yes. I made her do her first cartwheel ever. We're on a extinct volcano in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. That's where she learned how to do cartwheels.
Learned in quotation marks. Nick was over there doing backflips and cartwheels and front flips and jiu-jitsu. He was literally like doing drills on top of the volcano, and I'm just over there doing pitiful cartwheels. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I often get the urge at work because I have to go down a hallway in order to get to the bathroom. And I go down this like really long, green, empty hallway with no one there. And I always get the urge to do cartwheels every time I'm there. And I'm like, I shouldn't because I think there's cameras. But anyway,
that sounds fun.
Welcome to another episode of A BJJ Marriage with your hosts, Nick and Brittany. And then we also have a special guest today, Miss LeSuong, a.k.a. Facehugger.
The one and only.
Yes. The one and only. You actually probably are. I don't know if I know anyone else named LeSuong. Do you know anyone else named LeSuong? Okay. How did your parents pick that name?
Okay, so this is a very long story.
Okay. We got time.
But so legally, my name's Suong, and then the L and the E, I have two middle names. So the L and the E, Lei, is my first middle name. Twee's my second middle name.
Okay.
And then my parents came from Vietnam, so I'm first generation.
Okay.
But when they were signing paperwork for school, and there's only like one space for one middle name, so they put the L and the E in the front.
Oh.
So that's how LeSuong was born.
Interesting.
And then that's how, like, my husband knows me as LeSuong. Like, all my friends do. My family calls me Suong. But,
wow.
And then legally, my social security card, they squished the Suong and the Lei together. So it's Sung Lee.
Okay.
So then, depending on what I'm signing, I'll either say Suong or Sung Lee.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But everybody calls you LeSuong.
Yeah. So.
That's crazy. The more you know about a person. Do you speak any other languages then? Or?
Yeah, I speak Vietnamese.
Vietnamese?
Wow. That's cool. I don't think I knew that about you.
Oh, no.
Obviously, as an expression. It's like, oh my god. Can you say something?
Let's see. Ciao. Just means like hi. And then like, cảm ơn cho mang tới ở nhà. So it's like, thank you for bringing me here.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
Very nice.
It's way better than Nick's Mandarin.
I have to learn some
You know Mandarin?
Vietnamese. I'm trying to learn Mandarin, yes.
Nice.
I'm in the process of it, yeah.
He's been learning for like almost a year now, probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you using one of the apps for... Yeah.
I'm using Duolingo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's super fun. I'm on a 509-day streak.
Nice.
Which is like a lot of days in a row.
That is nice.
Yeah. I'm learning Mandarin, also Portuguese. So one day when I go to Brazil and do jiu-jitsu, I can speak Portuguese maybe.
That's pretty cool. That is cool. I was actually learning Rosetta Stone just to... Because I speak Vietnamese, but I don't really know how to read it. So I was using that to try to like learn how to read.
Reading's the hardest part.
It is.
Well, I don't know. Does Vietnamese have an alphabet or characters?
It's an alphabet, but there's like accent marks. Mm-hmm. So like one letter, like with the accent, could mean like be said a different way versus another. So
there's still 26 letters or more.
I never counted. I was like, I don't know how many letters there are.
Okay, cool. I do think it's an American thing to put all the letters in a row because ultimately there's no reason to have a to Z. Mm-hmm. It's just organized that way, and then we all learned it that way.
Mind blown.
But there's no reason for it.
It was just a way for people to know what the letters are in the alphabet, I guess.
We should have a kid and teach them the alphabet completely wrong. And then they're going to go to school and sing the alphabet song, and they'll be like, X, C, W, T.
H-Y. That is interesting. I remember when I was in 6th grade, I took my first Spanish class and we had to learn the alphabet, and there was like an actual alphabet song that we had to learn, kind of like how we have the ABCs in English, and then in Spanish it was like A, B, C, Ch. Yeah. And or no, it was like a drum almost. It was like A, B, C, Ch, and then you would take a
J, A, F, A.
J-A-F-A, H-E-H-O-K-M-A-N-A-N-A-A.
Yeah, that's
It was just like a chant, and I remember thinking it was very fun, but I also remember being very confused because they had the CH, and then they also had the, there's another letter.
Double R? Or something?
Yeah, the double R, but I think there was even one more. And then I always thought that the J was weird because it was Hota.
That's a fun one to say.
And as a 6th grader, you feel like you're swearing.
That's like Japanese I learned from 7th through 9th grade. And they kind of have like a song. It's like, a, I, U, A, O, la, li, lu, le, lo.
Oh, that's fun.
You know.
That's way more fun. English is so boring. I think I was just talking to Ellie this week, and she was just like, English is so ugly. Because I think she kept messing up on her words. Yeah, she's like, it's just such an ugly language. And I was like, it's not any worse than German. She's like, yeah, German's ugly too, but like, English is terrible. But
yes.
Anyway, now we're done talking about languages.
Yes.
It's better than Teletubbies, at least.
Gotta stop bringing it up. Now I'm going to be thinking about Teletubbies all day.
LeSuong, which Teletubby do you think of yourself as most?
You know, I never watched Teletubbies.
That's good. You should keep
it
that
way.
way.
I don't know what Teletubby I would be.
I'm very happy you did not expose your children to that.
So what Teletubby would I be if you had to choose?
Oh gosh, her? She'd probably be a mix between Poe and Lola.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Who are these two? I have to look this up now.
You're a mix between the red one and the yellow one.
The red one and the yellow one. Okay.
Yeah. Lala is the only girl, and she's like the sweetest one, and she's always just so happy and la la la. But then, I'm sorry to say this, but then Poe's like super ditzy, and he's just like,
he's like, I'm Poe.
Yeah.
It's okay. My mom calls me ditzy sometimes. I get
it. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
But it's like a cute ditzy. It's not like everyone hates him or anything. It's like everyone loves Poe because he's just Poe. And that's how everyone feels about LeSuong. It's like everyone loves LeSuong because she's a face hugger.
That's how I show my affection.
Yes. So tell us more about that. How'd you get that nickname?
Ellie gave me that nickname, actually.
Of course she did.
Well, that's because what happens with LeSuong is you only know LeSuong's at the gym because you'll be rolling, and then all of a sudden there'll be a break between rounds, and you look over, and suddenly something's coming towards you.
Like a panda
and they
on
just
a
jump,
pounce.
and they land wherever they land, and that's LeSuong. And then you start rolling.
It's my hello.
And she kind of clings to you like a koala, and then she'll rub your face if you need it. And then she'll pull hairs on your face and your legs.
I only pull Bon Tempo's leg hair.
Okay.
That's because he squishes me, and then he won't move, so then I pull his leg.
You gotta do something.
Because then he screams, which is really funny. Because it's like, ah! From like a little, such a high-pitched squeal from...
Such a big person.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah. That's funny. And then you've been noogieing me lately.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been adding that to my repertoire.
Anytime she gets them out, noogie.
Yep. I call it the art of distraction.
It works. It works very well for you, so you should keep that up.
I did that to Thaddeus when we rolled before, and he's like, he kept forgetting what he was going to do every time I noogied him.
Well, Thaddeus is so focused on what he's doing that I feel like any distraction, he's like, what is going on right
he's
now?
Like, what?
That's fantastic, yes. For the people that aren't watching and are listening to the podcast, LeSuong is a much smaller grappler than your average grappler. Mm-hmm. So, how tall are you?
4'7.5".
Are you really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm short.
I mean, I knew you were that. Wow. That's
I always forget how short I am until I look at pictures with like other people. I'm like, oh yeah, I am really short.
We should get a picture of you and Adam Conley together.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
For those who don't go to Fluid, Adam Conley is our tallest human at Fluid.
His nickname is Skyscraper Adam.
I think he's like 6'7" or something.
Yeah,
so he's got 2 feet on you.
I don't know.
He's super tall. Well, even like Michael that I roll with, he's so like leggy and limby. I kind of think of him as Squidward when you're rolling. Like that's what I always picture.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna start calling him Squidward because he's kind of cranky like you too.
He is. Because I've done that when we roll, and he's like, "I'm not Squidward."
That's exactly what Squidward would say.
That's why it's funny.
Oh, I'm totally gonna start saying that to him.
I'm definitely SpongeBob.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Who's Patrick?
You could be Sandy. You know who Patrick is.
Yes, I do know. We won't name names. But tempo.
Would Mike Coy be
Mr. Krabs?
Mike is Mr. Krabs.
This is the greatest.
I love it.
Creating our own SpongeBob cast out fluid.
Think of your gym and who would be the SpongeBob character.
Do you think I would really be Sandy though?
I don't know. There's no other girls. Just a driving teacher, and you're definitely not her.
I could be Pearl.
Which one's Pearl?
That's Mr. Krabs' whale daughter.
Yeah. That's right.
She's kind of a princess. She likes having fancy stuff. I like having fancy stuff.
Okay.
How do we keep going so off topic?
I don't know.
Oh, we said Michael. You rolling with Michael? You're probably the size of Michael's leg.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, he's all legs, and I can never get anywhere.
Yes, but you know it's nearly impossible to hold you somewhere because your limbs are like whoop.
Oh yeah, that is true. I'm able to
through
slip
wherever you want.
Good. Yeah,
and it's so hard to armbar you because we gotta get our butt so close to your shoulder that it's nearly impossible.
It is very hard to armbar you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can't see your arm compared to mine. So
we were
shoulder to shoulder.
Oh.
That's insane. My hand is further than her fingers right now.
Yeah, her fingers go up to your wrist. Yes.
It's my goal to armbar you now.
Oh. That's why I only try to choke you. I can't find your limbs.
Oh, well, I'll have to remember that next time you roll.
Interesting.
All right.
So what's your style? What do you do? Like, besides noogieing and pulling people's leg hair?
I always like chokes. Those are always my go-to. Okay. Those are fun. I feel like because it doesn't require as much strength.
Yes.
And there's multiple ways to choke somebody, which is fun.
I agree. Yeah, because you would definitely have to use your whole body to get an armbar.
Yeah.
And it has to be in the right position.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today in general also is the strength gap between smaller grapplers and larger grapplers.
Nick just woke up.
I need some more coffee.
It was like 8:15. I'm like, Nick, you have to get up now. And he's like, huh, what?
What day is it?
What day?
When I asked you to come over earlier, I was just like, do you think that's too early? And then I thought about it. I was like, nah, she's a mom. She's fine.
Oh, yeah. I've been up since 7. I dawdle in the morning, so that's I was like, yeah, maybe 8:30.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I was like, I'll wake up at like 5 for 6 a.m. class. And I would make it on time, but I'm always like, oh, I have 20 minutes. And then I'll like dawdle, and then I'm like, oh, I should have left like 10 minutes. So,
that happens every day.
Yeah.
So you go to 6 a.m.
Yes.
Religiously.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes. Do you go Mondays at all?
No, I did once, but I was like, nah, I'd like to sleep in a few days. So.
Agreed.
Yeah, especially now that the kids are in no school, you're just trying to enjoy your summer a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, 6 a.m. And then I've been trying to hit Ellie's 7 p.m. class on Tuesday.
You say 7 a.m.? Do you imagine Ellie at 7 a.m.? I don't want to be around Ellie.
No, I wouldn't want to be around Ellie at 7. She'd be really scary. But then I do Saturday women's self-defense at 10. And then usually I'll stick around for beginners and then maybe open mat. Mm-hmm. And then I try to, every once in a while, I'll try to do flow on Sunday. Mm-hmm. It kind of depends on what we're doing as a family. So.
Cool. So you try to go like 4 days a week then?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
And who got you into jiu-jitsu? The famous question.
I don't know. Actually, so no one else in my family trains. I actually just wanted to.
Your cousin does, right?
Well, my cousin does, yeah. But that was, we didn't realize cousin? We each trained because he lives in California. He lives in California.
Okay.
He's come to Fluid like when he's in town before. I don't think he usually comes at like my when I'm going to. So
Yeah, like morning classes, I've seen him.
Yeah.
Maybe weekends.
Okay.
He's a tiny guy too, but he's super fast.
I'm sure. I believe it.
So,
He's super fun to roll with.
Yeah. Every time he's always like, if we roll, he's like, I'll give you $100 if you pass my guard. So
What
that's
rank
like
is
my
he?
goal. He's purple.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's been some times where I'm like, I can smell the money.
That's a great game.
It is a fun game.
You're not playing that game. Actually, you'd probably be pretty good at that game. I
I think it'd be fun. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty good at it.
Not a lot of people can pass your card.
Yeah, all you see is like ass, foot,
Yep.
over and over, and you're like,
It's called
Where all
his,
these legs come from?
yeah.
It's called his grilled chicken guard.
It's grilled chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Good.
Grilled
It looks like grilled chicken.
Oh yeah, that is chicken too.
Yeah.
I think
That's
the
it.
only two people that can pass his grilled chicken guard are Brent and Mike.
Yeah.
And Brett.
Oh, and Brett. Really? Brett doesn't seem like a guard passer to me.
Yeah, but he can just cut right through me. He can just like hold me down and then put my legs over here. And at his leisure, come to my,
He's just like, here you
come
go.
past my legs.
Oh my gosh. I was training with Brett on Wednesday, and we were doing a guard passing day on Wednesday night. And I'd worked with him. My leg was hurting a little bit, so I wanted to work with someone who wouldn't hurt me. And I was laying on my back, and it was a standing guard pass. So he stood up to pass my guard, and as I was just laying there, and I was ready to start a guard, and he just stood up, and I was like, whoa. I was like, this is David and Goliath right now. Like, oh my goodness. And I was super intimidated, even though I knew he wasn't going to do anything. But I was just like, Brett, you don't pass guard standing very much, do you? He's like, never, ever. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying down here.
Yeah.
Brett?
Rolling with Brett is like, I always picture like, I'm like this little cub and he's like a big black bear, you know? And, like, literally, like, if I have him inside control, I'm like, is this good? He's like, yeah. And then he like literally sits up and like shucks me off.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, well.
That was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
Brett's been on the podcast before. It was a really long time ago. But he was on our episode of when we talked about an episode with all 5 belts. We should have him on again to talk about it again. But he is one of our largest members at Fluid. But not like fat, just like large. Like he's large
like,
human.
He's just a big guy.
Like a Northman. Like a
Viking.
Yeah.
Like,
a Viking or a farmer.
Yeah.
You know, those people that are just like thick, solid muscle.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And he is a 4-stripe brown belt. So he's got that going for him. And everyone's pretty terrified of him.
He's been training like
20
my whole life.
years. Yeah. He's the one that talks about fish hooks.
Yeah, when he was a white belt, they would fish hook each other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so rude.
Yeah.
But
He
you could add that
trained-
to your nuggies and...
No.
I feel like that'd be really mean.
I don't think that would end up well for you.
No, I don't think so. I feel like I might get bit.
This is true. It's true.
Did you know that if you bite your finger hard enough, it could just snap off like a carrot?
Yeah, watch. Just kidding.
Besides this. So can you imagine like fish hooking someone while you're in a fight and then they just bite your finger and you can't do anything? Okay, moving on.
Okay.
So we were talking about why you started jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We totally got sidetracked there. Oh, so I actually started because I wanted to learn how to defend myself.
Mm.
So I've had 2 instances before where I felt like somebody was like literally trying to kidnap me.
Oh no.
So I was like, I really need to learn how to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my husband and I were talking, and I was like, it got down between like Krav Maga and Jiu Jitsu,
Sure.
and I was like, and he's like, well, maybe Jiu Jitsu's better because you're smaller, and Krav Maga that's more like striking, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll try it out, and I actually tried one of the Gracie schools in Milwaukee first.
Okay.
But it wasn't a very flexible schedule. It was very like only on this day.
This is what we have.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it was really. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. And then
Yeah.
I visited another gym, and I was like, they kind of scared me. Because, so he was really nice, but like, it was like just a beginner's class, and he was really nice, but like, he literally was like, when they were training, like, the white belts were like literally like on their heads, like being like, boom, and I was like, well, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So, and then I tried Fluid, and I was like, I like this place. So that's how I started.
Cool.
Yes.
So how long ago was that?
Like 2.5 years ago, maybe 2.5. Because I took like a 2-year break with COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
I didn't know you started after me.
Yeah, and you
wait,
got...
no, I started, I think, right before you. So has it been?
Because I was going to say, I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I
you've been
started
there
before
since
you.
I've been there.
Yeah.
But then the COVID kind of...
So I feel like, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Crazy.
I think
Yeah.
about 2.5 maybe? Or how long have you been?
I've been there for almost 3.5 now.
Okay.
So you've probably been there longer.
Oh, okay. Were you
But
there?
maybe with the gap.
Yeah, with the gap.
I was there with the gap.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
okay.
she's probably not adding the gap to the time
Oh,
of training.
yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't add the gap. So
Yeah, I'm definitely adding the
Okay.
gap. Because I only took the 2 months that we were closed.
Yeah,
and we-
I
and
we
was
have
back
this.
right away.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
we were rolling down here. But
Yeah, we were rolling together, and then I would still we would
And,
still
like-
work with my dad
Yeah.
and
Okay.
train with him, and
Yeah,
like him, and then I don't think Ian was training at the time.
No,
but
it wasn't.
yeah, it would be like the three of us because we were
We do
always
lots of
at
family training.
yeah we were at
Oh,
Fluid
nice.
doing those lives too.
Oh, yep.
So
I
it was
do
like the
remember
three of
those,
us. Yeah. So
Okay.
my dad would be teaching live lessons through Facebook, and then he would be his Uki, and I would be there recording.
Okay.
So we did that often, and then we would roll afterwards. And
Nice.
turn the camera off.
Okay.
So yeah, I trained all throughout COVID.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But
Mhm.
you've got 4 stripes. How does that make you feel?
Very excited. A little anxious though for like when you rank up because I feel like everyone's like,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can feel the target
Yeah,
accumulating
that's
on your
like,
back. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you're gonna get all those new white belts who come in and be like, she has 4 stripes. I gotta see what I can do against her.
Yeah.
Mhm. Have you been noticing that?
So actually one of the 6 a.m. guys, I was rolling with him. He was pretty new. And I got him in an armbar. He literally stood up with me hanging
God.
on his arm. And so like
Is this Steve? I think so.
yeah, it was Steve. Yeah. So like literally he like his arms just hanging and I'm like, okay, abandon ship. And like I rolled off of him. But I was like, oh, that was crazy.
It is also crazy because most of the time when people can pick you up with an armbar, the only reason they can pick us up and we're not breaking their arm is because we're being nice.
Yeah,
and not
because I
gonna
didn't
break their
want
arm.
to. Yeah, because I didn't want to just.
But when we have that locked in and people can stand up, you could just hip in and completely tear their arm apart. But they don't even realize it.
Yeah,
Because
I was like,
they're still
I don't wanna
newer.
be
Yeah.
mean.
That would be very mean.
It would be very mean. So.
Ugh.
Yes.
That'd
But,
be terrifying. I don't think anyone's actually like broken anything
Not at Fluid.
in Fluid. I have seen someone break their arm in competition though. Like
Ugh.
straight up, it was disgusting. Like from where we are to the couch right now, that's how close I was to the match because I was like right up on the ringside. I didn't even know who they were. I don't even know why I was watching. But we were right there, and I think it was Jada, Mike Urbanek, and I, and we were just watching it. And this guy, like literally, I think he's getting Kimura'd on the mat, like from bottom side control or something. And then he stood up, and his shoulder just like completely popped out, and his elbow popped, and like everything, like his whole arm, it was bending in ways that like is not supposed to bend. And he was just sitting there screaming, and I was like,
It was
and
terrifying.
Jada and I could not. It was,
And then he got stretchered out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he was screaming so loud, the whole gym was echoing. And I was like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But thankfully that has never happened at
Yeah.
while training.
Yeah.
Competition is a whole different game. You gonna compete?
Probably not.
What do you mean? I just told you all about how you can break your arm.
Sounds
That's
fun, but
very, very, I can't think of the word. Convincing.
yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. It's
So,
crazy. There
I
was...
was
Sorry.
yeah.
I was just going to say, there was a competition yesterday that we both wanted to do, and we were sad because some family stuff came up, so we weren't able to sign up. But he looked in his Facebook memories, and he saw that he did his very first competition as a white belt
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
4 years ago yesterday. And he's like,
That's
should have
crazy.
competed today.
That is crazy, though.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all I had to say. What were you going to say?
Well, that was cool. 4 years ago was my first
That was
competition.
cool.
That was a big day.
Mhm.
But I was going to ask you if you fulfilled that purpose of gaining confidence and self-defense. My words are really not coming out today, so I apologize.
So I do feel like I'm a lot more confident. So, and just not even within like self-defense wise, I feel like just in life in general, just being more confident with like even like having like this is like boundaries, like
Yes.
or like standing up for yourself, like that sort of thing, or just like this isn't a situation I want to be in, or these aren't people I want to hang out with, so I'm gonna remove myself, like that sort of thing. So I feel like even it translates over into just personal life as well.
I agree. Yeah, I'm coming up with this concept of jiu-jitsu moves that we do on a daily basis, like shrimping and bridging, and putting that into analogies for living life. So with you were talking about boundaries, I think that like, you know, whenever you bridge in jiu-jitsu, outside of jiu-jitsu, if you think of techniques, you can use bridging as setting boundaries to keep people away. So you can either use your bridge to connect boundaries, or you can tear down the bridge and say, stay away. This is my boundary and I don't want you to come past it. But yeah, I think that's a huge thing that people learn in jiu-jitsu is you can stop things and you can remove yourself from things.
Yeah, kind of like
in
being
regular
smaller
life.
in jiu-jitsu, it's like you can't move that person, you move around them. So it's like,
that's right.
if you don't want this situation, you remove yourself then. So.
Mental shrimping.
Yeah.
That's what he calls it.
Mental shrimping, I think, is relieving some sort of stress by changing your angle of whatever's in front of you that's stressing you out.
Or just even being comfortable with the uncomfortable, you know?
Oh,
so, like, even, like, work-wise, like, so I manage a team of reporting analysts, so, like, there's a lot of, like, the reporting analysts are kind of, like, so there's, like, a internal team, kind of, like, internal coworkers, and they're, I need this, that, and the other thing, and so I'm the one that kind of sets boundaries, like, this might not work, or this does work, but so-and-so is busy, so the deadline can't be today, it has to be, you know, X, Y, and Z. So just being able to, like, put myself out there, even though I'm like, people might not like me right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of the ebbs and flows of being a manager, though, right? Like, you're going to have to make people upset no matter what.
Yeah.
So you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing your job.
Yeah.
But mental shrimping.
Yeah, mental shrimping.
Who were you just telling that to? And they just kept saying it, and they did not do jiu-jitsu, and I thought it was interesting.
I have no idea.
We were at, like, some family party, and they just kept saying, like, mental jiu-jitsu, and I was like, do you even know what jiu-jitsu is, bro? I don't remember. I shouldn't talk to you right now. You're still sleeping.
Was that yesterday?
No, it was a couple of days ago. Okay. But, like, with his life coaching, he's been talking to a lot of people about trying to, like, overcome those barriers and overcome the mental shrimping and all that stuff. And we were literally talking to someone, and they just kept saying, they're like, mental shrimping, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, I don't think you know what that means. Like, but that's cool.
Was it at the pool last week?
No, because all of them do jiu-jitsu.
Not that guy's wife? Anyways.
Yeah, she was it. She was the one.
See?
Uh-huh.
You can talk to
You're
me.
like, I am awake.
Teresa.
Yeah, it was her. She doesn't train, but her husband does, so she does know what that means. Okay, never mind. Maybe I was thinking it was like Tom or something. I don't know.
That's all right.
Yeah, we were at the pool last weekend. It was actually kind of funny because I was thinking about this yesterday, how our circle is basically everyone who trains. And it's just kind of interesting that we just, like, associate ourselves with people who train. And we really only hang out with people who train. And, I mean, we do have our old friends before we started training jiu-jitsu that we do still hang out with.
Before jiu-jitsu.
But, like, Megan Wagner, she was telling me, she's like, yeah, I don't really hang out with anyone that doesn't train anymore. She's like, if you don't do jiu-jitsu, like, I don't know. I don't really think I associate with them anymore.
That's rude. That makes it more like a cult.
No, she didn't say it in a mean way. She just said it like, this is my whole life, and basically if you aren't doing it, then I'm probably, like, too busy training.
Yeah, that does kind of become your social circle.
It's weird.
Like, you don't realize it, because like my social circle is like folks at Fluid, and then like my family, and like my best friend Andy, and that's like pretty much it. Or, like, maybe some people I work with, but that's about it. Yeah.
Well, I've been seeing this, like, it's not a meme, but it's, like, one of those worded pictures on Facebook. And I've seen it from a couple people now. And it's just someone saying, like, how do I make more friends? You can't just, like, walk up to someone at Walmart and be like, you're buying that? I get that one, too. Let's go have drinks. Like, that's not how you make friends.
I absolutely do that. And then they look at me like, all right, bro.
But people are always wondering now, like, how do you make friends as an adult? Like, in school, you have your inner circle with your friends and your clique, and then when you're doing sports, like, you do that. And every time I see it, because I've seen it by 3 people now, and every time I'm like, join something.
Yeah,
join
that's how you...
Yeah, like, it doesn't even have to be just jiu-jitsu. I would recommend. But, like, if you join like, something.
A painting class or like a... Yeah, any sort of art, I think, is a good place to start.
Yeah.
To find friends.
Just any type of club.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like where you have like a common theme, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Country clubs are good for that, if you're rich.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, if you're joining that club, it's probably because you have interest in it. And then other people are also part of that club because they have interest in it. So now you already have a commonality, and you can find other things that you can build off of. You
mean we need more things being in common besides we're human?
The look on your face. That was funny.
Yeah, I get that every day.
I don't know. Why don't you go ask the whole rest of the world who's fighting right now?
You know what? I would be a good negotiator.
Run for president. Just kidding. You can't. You're too young.
Do you have to be a certain age?
35.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be 35. No, that's not true. Never mind. I was going to say, I think you actually have to have like some sort of years or experience under your belt too, but Trump didn't, so never mind. Like, taking all that back.
But yeah, just 35. Yeah, and a citizen. Those two things.
Yeah, and a citizen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's not even just a citizen.
I think it's a U.S. born citizen.
Yeah, you have to be born in the U.S. So you can't be a U.S. citizen by like taking the test and everything. You have to actually be born here.
Okay.
Maybe they'll change that in the future. Probably need to change that in the future. But anyway, we won't get political. We don't get political on this.
That's the one rule.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You guys are pretty young then. I didn't realize. How old are you then, Nick?
I'm 30.
Wow.
31 next month.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like...
He never knows.
I mean, he gets 26.
Know how old I am.
You don't know how old Brittany is?
No, he never knows. He forgets my birthday, too, even though it's only 3 days after his.
Oh, I offended my husband greatly when he turned 41. Wait, hang on. He's going to be listening, so he's going to be like, what the hell? So when he turned 41, it was on December 9th, and for some reason, I kept thinking it was his 40th, and he's like, how do you not know how old I am? So I was like, aren't you 40? And he's like, no, I'm 41. I'm like, oh, sorry, but he was super offended by that.
It's because he was already... Is it over the hill at 40?
Maybe.
I think it's called over the hill, right?
Is it?
It's, yeah.
Yeah,
there's definitely...
So he was already over the hill and you were trying to put him at the top of the hill again.
Yeah, apparently that offended him.
Why doesn't he train?
I keep trying to talk him into it, but he won't.
You know July is free for spouses.
I know. Well, we're gone for a week and a half, like starting...
Sure.
2.5 more weeks.
I've been trying to convince him. I think he'd be good at it because he used to wrestle like in high school, and he's really good. He's super fast, and like when we because I do the same thing at the gym when I I do that to him, and so But
so that's where you learned how to be a good face hugger.
But he's so quick, and he already anticipates my moves, and he just squishes me very easily. So
that's kind of cool.
So I was like, he'd be really good at it, but he's just like, meh.
Okay. You just gotta pounce on him a little bit more.
I think so. One day I'll bring him to the dark side.
What about your kids? Are you gonna ever get them involved?
I want to. Jenna says that she thinks it might be boring. So I was like, but you've never tried it, so you don't know.
Yeah.
And then I think Kaylee would enjoy it because she's very very sports,
athletic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think of the word. Yes, athletic.
I was thinking spunky.
She is very spunky too.
So Kaylee is 6, right?
She's 5, so she'll be 6 in August.
And then how old's Jenna?
7, and she'll be 8 in October.
Okay. And Jenna's the one that thinks it's going to be boring. Mm-hmm. There's so many kids her age, though.
Yeah.
Like her and Rosine, they would be so... Do you know who Rosine is? Oh my gosh. Rosine is Eric's kid.
Okay.
Do you know who Eric is?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. She is she's like this tiny little, I'm assuming that Jenna's very small too. I haven't seen her, but like I'm assuming
she comes up to like my shoulder.
Yeah, so she's super tiny. And Rosine is like this little tiny like 50-pound girl who just is so also spunky. Like she came up to me at the kids' lock-in and she was just like, I can pick up my mom. And I was like, oh yeah? And she was like, yeah, and she's over 100 pounds. And I was like, cool. And she's like, and I'm over 50. And I'm like, cool.
I love kids.
Yeah. But I feel like she would be a really good training partner for Jenna because I think she's also like 7.
Nice. Yeah. We taught them how to do arm bars.
Cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I learned when I was 7, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep. It was also in my grandma's living room. I don't even know if I've ever told you this story.
You have not.
But my dad got into
probably with like
jiu-jitsu.
Hickson or something.
So my dad got into jiu-jitsu because his brother-in-law, who was not his brother-in-law at the time, he was just dating his sister. He was a blue belt, and my dad was a wrestler, and they were sitting in my grandma's living room, and my Uncle Mike had done a helicopter armbar on my dad because they had like challenged each other, like who's better, jiu-jitsu or wrestling. And Mike was able to do the helicopter armbar and just set my dad down and just armbar the crap out of him when he's a good wrestler. And he was just like, well, I need to do this now. And 2 weeks later, he started training, and he hasn't stopped training since. And I remember after my dad got super into jiu-jitsu, he was like a fanatic. Like I remember memories growing up of like things happening, and he taught me an arm bar, just a very traditional one, like one from side control, and then you pick up the arm and then you spin around and you go backward. Like he taught me that, and I remember learning it in the living room, and I was just like, this is super cool. I love this, and I just kept arm barring him all day, and I thought it was great, and maybe that's why I love arm bars now. But
come and think of it,
right? And I remember saying like, oh, this is really fun and I'm going to do this. But then I went to the gyms with him and there's no kids program. There's no female program. There was no anything. It was just big giant Bretts. And I was 7. And so it wasn't fun.
Intense,
yeah. So I didn't ever train until a couple years ago, but it was very cool. And I remember loving that armbar. But then I also remember like my dad was super obsessed with jiu-jitsu all throughout my life growing up. That we had an attic in our duplex that had a little like sunroom up there, and that was the mats. That was all the mat space. Nice. Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah, I've grown up with it for a long time. If only I started earlier.
You'd be a black belt and you can whoop my butt and get $100 for passing my guard.
Do you know how often I thought about that? I'm like, dang, if I was a black belt when I met Nick, how different our lives would be. I wouldn't be begging for purple stripes.
So what made you decide to start? Nick did?
Him.
Nice.
Probably when I competed 4 years ago.
Wow, yep. 4 years ago I wasn't training yet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
it was like fun.
Yeah, basically my dad was just hassling him and was just like, you should train. And finally Nick was like, okay, I'll go train. And then...
Just like that.
Okay.
Kind of. He was not nice to you, though.
He was not.
No?
No, I was dating his daughter. So he needed to make sure I knew that he knew that he could kill me at any time.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I don't know what actually made me decide. I think I would have started when he did, like when he finally decided to go. Like I probably would have went with him if my schedule allowed for it. But at the time, Fluid only had like 3 classes a week.
And they were night classes?
Yeah, and they were night classes, and I was a server. So I was constantly working the night shift. So I just never was able to make the classes. And about a year and a half after he started, I ended up getting a different job where I was able to start making classes a little bit more. Or no, that wasn't what it was. It was the noon classes started. And I was like, oh, I can go to the noon classes because I don't start work till 4. So I tried out my first class, and I remember like I was there and I didn't tell my dad I was doing it that day because I wanted it to be a surprise. Okay. And it was colder that day because it was March, and so I was wearing a coat, but I was wearing my rash guard under it. And my dad was like, Brittany, when are you going to start training? And I literally ripped open my coat like Superman. I was like, today!
That's awesome.
And he was like,
yeah. And then I cried.
Oh.
Okay.
Fun Tempo loves telling that story, though. Because when I first started, I was terrible, obviously, as everyone is. But, like, I didn't like being terrible because you're professor's daughter. You don't want to be terrible, right? And I was learning the scissor sweep, and I literally cried because I couldn't do it.
Oh. Well, now you can definitely kick ass.
I can do the scissor sweep now. Let's put it that way.
I think you could do that in your sleep.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what's it like as a smaller person? And we're all kind of smaller, depending on who you're talking about, right? But what's it like as a smaller person to not be trapped underneath the bigger people? How does that work?
Like
or does it happen?
I like to not be trapped.
Words.
Well,
do you find yourselves trapped often, I should say?
I do notice with having shorter legs that if I am trapped in the bottom, I can typically get somebody in at least half guard. So.
And then relieve a lot of pressure just from half guard in general.
I feel like your half guard is very strong.
Yeah,
because
it just happens automatically, without me thinking. Like
I do notice your half guard a lot.
Yeah. So that helps with like not being so squishy, and then just frames.
Yes.
Frames and shrimping, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like the smaller people tend to revert to half guard because your legs are so small that a full guard is almost like impossible, right? Like if you wanted to close your guard at any point, like you just can't.
I feel like at Fluid, I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 people I could close my guard on, but like everybody else, it's open. Like
Susie and Devin.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe Kayla. Oh
yeah.
Yep.
Kayla's small too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you and Kayla and Susie are definitely the 3 smallest, and then Devin. But even Devin's bigger than all 3 of you.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking to Susie, and I was telling her, I was just like, yeah, I think you're the smallest one. And then they were just like, what about LeSuong? And I was like, I don't know who's smaller. Like, it's kind of...
I feel like Susie and I are pretty... Like, I think she's like maybe a smidge taller.
Yeah.
But... I mean, barely. I think we're both like pretty much the same.
We should put you guys back to back. But I think Kayla is taller than both of you.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never actually like.
She's definitely taller than you.
Yeah? Oh, okay, fine.
I think so. Yes.
Kayla's a bodybuilder, though.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's a personal trainer, so she just lifts like all day long.
That's why she's so strong.
Mm-hmm.
She is strong. Oh, I should ask her because I've been trying to work on like my upper body strength.
Yeah, she would definitely be able to help you. She helps me with not like personal sessions or anything, but she'll give me tips and tricks for better recovery options because she knows the body really, really well. So like when I was having issues with my knees, she gave me so many knee surgeries, stretches. She gave me a ton of knee stretches that I could do. And then just last week I had pulled a muscle in my front of my thigh, and she gave me a good stretch for that too. Like I didn't even ask her, she just saw that I was hurting and she's like, go do this. And I was like, thank you.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, she's definitely a good resource to talk to about that.
Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Laura used to help me with that.
Oh, yeah.
Laura.
I was like, Lori is a therapist.
Yeah, she helps me with other things.
Yeah, Laura was really good at that. Mm-hmm. Laura was really small too. Laura was 135, I think. Or 130 or something like that.
Around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But, so, do you tend to find yourself being more on the offense or defense?
Well, I feel like whenever I start rolling with anybody, they typically, because I'm always the one that usually tries to pass people's guards, whereas everybody else usually, like, they'll start getting in, like, their hooks and stuff, so.
Mm-hmm.
But.
So, offense?
Yeah. So I was like, because I don't think it's usually it just happens naturally like that, so I've never been the one to, like, do the...
Pull guard?
Yeah.
LeSuong doesn't pull guard, guys.
Although he did teach us how.
Yeah, I remember we did some, like, crazy sweep from guard in a 6 a.m. class once, and I was really, like, I had so much fun working with you on it because you had such little legs that I just felt like I just launched off, and I was like, whoa! But yeah, you don't really play guard very often, now that I'm thinking about it. You just jump on my back.
Yeah, or you'll scoot out and, like, get to your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then not pull guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good strategy, though.
I did this one where that Ellie saw on Facebook once, where if you're trying to pass someone's guard and they like do like a forward somersault into mount. And so we were playing with that before.
I remember you posting that video.
So I did that to Ted on 6 a.m.
Yes.
And it still makes me laugh just thinking about it. But I accidentally landed a little too hard. And like the look on his face just made me laugh. Because he's like, oh. And then the whole time I was just laughing. And then on the drive home I was laughing hysterically.
What a great day.
It was a great day.
He's done having kids.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome. I love Ted. I miss Ted.
So who's more of a bully, you or Ted?
Ted.
Yeah, he would say you. But you both learned the bulliness from Mr.
The
Mike.
original bully.
The original
Mike.
bully. Yes. He actually has a control he calls the bully control.
Does he really?
What is the bully control?
I was doing it to Scarlett yesterday.
The scarf?
It's a scarf with a gift wrap.
Oh, okay. Do you like how I just knew that? He was like, I was doing it to my dog, and I was like, the scarf? And like, I knew he was doing a scarf.
Oh, so you do that often to Scarlett?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, sometimes she's just rambunctious. You saw her this morning.
Yeah.
I don't even have my coffee yet. She's like, ah!
You're like, you need to calm down.
Well, I was trying to look. She's been having allergies, so I was trying to look at some rash that's on her belly, and she was not having it. So he just held her down. He's like, "You're staying here."
And she's like, fine.
I do that with my kids sometimes. If you have to like look at something, like if they have like a bump or a scratch or something, and they're like, no, and like I'm like, okay, let me get my hooks in.
I've done that to trim the nails dogs.
Yeah. Wow.
The dog's nails. Yes.
Trim the nails, dogs.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, you get your back hooks in, and then you just hold them down, and then the other person can just clip them while you're just keeping them there.
That's funny.
I've actually said she doesn't even let us do that anymore. Olive is not good about it. So
no.
I've actually said that we should get a sex swing just so we can put them down.
I'd like a picture of this.
There's videos of it. Like you just hang the swing from like a bathroom door, and then you just put the dog in it. And they're just like, what are we doing?
And then their feet are there.
And you're just like
yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, groomers, they don't use a swing, but they kind of do something
it's a
like
harness.
that. Yeah.
A dog harness. That they probably sell.
I think the swing is way nicer.
But yeah, sure.
it looks more comfortable.
I think it's supposed to be, right? Anyway. So, do you ever do jiu-jitsu on your kids or just your husband?
So kind of with my kids. Like, I'll roughhouse with them where I'll, like, pin them down and, like, get my hooks in, or, like, I'll do side control and stuff, but I always let them go. Or I'll be like, shrimp!
Shouldn't let them
Yes.
go. Make them get out. That's right. You said you taught them arm bars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, I was that age when I learned an arm bar, and that's how we trailed off again.
You've been all over the place today.
Coffee. At least one of us is awake.
Yeah, I think you stole the whole wakeness of the house.
I think Scarlett woke me up when she tried to knock over LeSuong.
Oh my goodness.
Scarlett is a pit bull, so she's a solid muscle, and she's like the size of LeSuong. And she was coming in the door, and normally I don't hold Scarlett. Like, normally I just, like, keep her back by her chest or something, but when you were coming up, I was like, I think I need to hold this dog.
Well, I think she got extra anxious because you were holding her.
Well, she should calm down.
We need another door in our house so that people can walk in.
Just, like, close the door.
Then close. Yeah.
You're, like, looking through the screen, like, this is a person. Now you can calm down once I open up the door.
Oh, yeah.
They know who their certain people are, though, that they're allowed to go outside for. So, like, we'll have certain people come over, and then the door will open, and they'll just run right past them and, like, to their car. And I'm like, where are you going? What do you think is happening right now?
They want to go on a trip.
Yeah, always.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything that we didn't touch about being a smaller grappler that maybe, like, you do that is unique to you?
Well, yeah, I can't hold on to any of her limbs. I know that as a fact.
You laugh a lot.
I do. Yeah.
You get on their in mount or back, and then you just like whisper in their ear, and then you start laughing.
Well, that's because she nookies now.
Oh well, I usually whisper like, "Let me love you," or "Don't resist. I promise you'll enjoy this."
Those are great phrases.
But I don't know.
Do you ever come to a night class? Like, when was the last time you were at a night class?
Besides women's class?
After COVID, when I started, well, COVID hasn't ended, but like when I started coming back, I did do 7 p.m. classes for a little bit on like Mondays, I think. Maybe a handful of times, and then I just started doing Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So.
Is it different for you?
Well, yeah, because I mean, night classes are a lot more crowded. So I like the 6 a.m. classes because it's kind of smaller. And then, I don't know. And then the women's self-defense because that was why I started to begin with. Right. So I do like the smaller classes. I feel like.
More attention.
Yes. Better instruction with smaller classes.
Yeah.
Because the coach can come over and be like, put your hand here. And then you're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Because you're like, wait, why is this not working? You know? So. And then I feel like you get more reps in too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike is really good at that too, where he'll just notice every little thing that you're doing. Where it is harder when there's a lot of people, because typically the instructors will more go towards like the newer people just to help them out. And the older, I shouldn't say older, the more experienced grapplers are just kind of just like, okay, I'm over here by myself, I still don't know what I'm doing, but thanks.
And I do like, because learning from Mike too, because he's smaller too, so he's got good insight into like, well, this might, like, this won't work, you know, because you have shorter limbs, so try it this way. So
he's very good at that for you. I've seen him do that multiple times with you, which is awesome. Yeah, he's an invaluable resource.
That's actually why I wanted to go work with him today, because he had posted in the group that he was going to be teaching Spider Guard on Thursday, and I was like, oh, I can't go because I leave the house at 7:15 for work, so there's no way I can make it to 6 a.m. now. And
just don't shower and go right to work.
I did think about just showing up and not rolling, like just going.
Oh yeah, because you'd be done by like 6:30,
and then I could just leave from there to go. I've thought about doing that a couple times. Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, so I was like, please someone record and show me. And then he had texted me and he was just like, so you like Spider Guard, huh? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I could show you. What are you doing Sunday? And I was like, okay. And that's where we're going, because I just really want to learn some Spider Guard from him. And him and I are about the same height, probably. He's probably like 5'4", 5'3", 5'4", right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how tall you are, so. But one time she asked me how tall she was, and I was like, you're probably like 5'8" or something.
I'm 5'3".
So I was like, oh, never mind.
Are you even tall enough to go on roller coasters?
I just am tall enough.
Yes.
I was kind of kidding. I love that answer. So yeah, anyway, we're going to go work with Mike on some Spider Guard stuff today, so watch.
I was thinking, there's a lot of guards that are named after bugs. Well, just 2 off the top of my head. Spider Guard, Butterfly Guard. Oh. But then everything else is like X Guard, Close Guard.
But that's just the English term of it. Isn't there like actual Japanese and Brazilian words?
You talking about entanglement, leg entanglements, ashigarami, and kesugatami? And that's not guards.
They can be.
Scarf hold is not a guard.
No, that's not. The leg entanglements, if you really wanted to, you could call it a guard. In a way.
Yeah, you're both guarding each other. Anyways. Sorry, guys. My brain is not having good conversations.
I was trying to say, so you go to in the morning and at night classes, and I was wondering if it was different, and that's where I was getting at. I was wondering if it was different for you to have different instruction from Mike than it is from, like, a self-defense, like Danny. Like, how different is it for you to learn from Mike than it is from Danny? Just as, like, a male, a smaller male, and then, like, an experienced female.
Good question. Like, I don't know.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Because they both have, like, pretty, like, open, relaxed ways of teaching. Because, like, usually, like, if you're drilling something or they're showing something and you're like, wait, I have a question, like, what if this? Or what if you wanted to try it this way? Like, they're very open with just being like, well, let's see it. And then, you know. So, I don't know.
Because I know you resonate with Mike a lot just because of being shorter and smaller. But I was just wondering because females are definitely acknowledged in jiu-jitsu now. Like, we are definitely making some ripples in the sport. And that's why we're actually having our women's open mat today, which is super cool. And I'm really excited about it.
The first monthly one. That's exciting.
But I am always curious to think about what other female grapplers think about learning from other females. Because I haven't had, like, really the experience of learning from a black belt female besides one at a camp once. And I think it would just be a different, unique perspective than it would be to learn from Mike or from Brent or from Jason, like so any of our black belts, just because women are smaller and weaker by nature, right? Like, we can get stronger and we can get better, but just, like, the physicality of it, women are basically...
have to be technical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was going to say inferior, so I like yours better because I don't like saying inferior, but it's true. Like, we have a disadvantage compared to the same size skill and size of a man.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
that is true. Because, like, women's self-defense, you're relying more on, like, not, like, your strength, you know, or anything like that. It's it is more, like, technical.
Yeah,
so.
It's like building the right leverage for the right thing that the attacker might be focusing on.
Yeah.
And so, like, I love learning from anyone at Fluid, our black belts especially, but, like, I think it just has a special place in my heart to learn from a female too, because they've been through it. They've experienced what I've been through, especially if, like, they have a color, like, even Ellie, like, she's been a 1-stripe blue belt before, she's been a 4-stripe white belt before, like, she can kind of give a little bit more insight.
What, that happened?
I know, it's weird to think about, but Ellie is a white belt.
That is weird.
But, like, I've learned from Bernadette, and Bernadette was, you probably don't even know who she is. She's a black belt from Illinois, and she's small. She's probably she's taller than you, but she's probably, like, your size. She's very, very, very tiny. And she was teaching a seminar on just guard and how to hold guard retention and doing better chokes and things like that. And she was telling me, kind of going back to what I had said, where when I was growing up, there were no kids classes, there were no females. She did it in that era, but she was an adult. So, but there's no females there. She said that, like, 9 times out of 10, she was the only female in class. So she was constantly getting smashed. And I just think it's interesting to learn from women in that perspective. So I was just curious what you thought about
there
that.
was one a long time, like, not super long ago, but when we had that charity one, so I was there and I met I don't remember her name, but she was visiting and she was a brown belt.
Lori.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know her name.
That's how much of a rare commodity we are. Is, like, you just say women brown belt and you're like, Lori.
Yeah, she was super awesome, super nice. But, like, her and I rolled. And
you did roll with her?
Yeah.
And she's a fun roll.
Yeah, she is a fun roll. And she's, like, because she's tinier, too. So, like, she was, like, giving me pointers, like, where she uses, like, your gi, you know, to hold you down certain ways and stuff like that. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
So, it's, like, kind of, like, thinking outside of what you normally would think to do.
Yes, absolutely. Lori La Paz, she's a saint. Very, very sweet woman. Except when she pulls your gi top over your head. I rolled with her at open guard and she literally took my gi out of my lapel and put it over my head and I was like, hey!
When people do that, I back out and then let them pull my sleeves off too. And then I have no more gi. I'm like, ha, sucker.
Yeah. I remember when I was rolling with her that day too, because that was the only time I've ever rolled with her. I think I was a 3 or a 4-stripe white belt at the time, and she just, like, stopped mid-roll and she looked at me super serious and she's like, you flow really nicely. And I was like, thank you. Like, I was just like, that's such a compliment. Like, a brown belt female just told me I roll nicely. How nice. But
that's good. Yeah, I was going to say, as a smaller grappler, because I'm smaller than most of the males at Fluid also, that's one reason that whenever I'm teaching, I try to teach as technical as possible. So I don't try to... I think there's a big difference between being technical and adding too much detail to teaching. right? So I'll try to like say you gotta put your hand right in this one spot, or move your hips over to this one spot. And that way, the move isn't strength based; it's technique based, and it works with more body types when you're using techniques versus when you're just like, if I was just like push the arm over here, but I'm like keep your elbows tight and use your core to push the arm over here. Things like that help me move bigger people, or help me move away from bigger people.
Yeah, Danny had actually mentioned, because like the last time he was visiting and he was at 6 a.m., after class he had texted me. He's like, oh, who was the instructor? What's his name? And I was like, oh, Nick. And he said that he really liked the way you taught because you were like very detailed in terms of like exact like hand positions and things like that.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, thanks, Danny.
You're also very good at not using strength, too. Like, you're very, very, very technical. I would say you're one of the most technical grapplers at Fluid, which is kind of cool. But when we roll together, there's even been times that he'll just, like, stop and be like, I'm sorry, I used too much strength there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I do that mindfully. Yeah.
And then it makes me think, I'm like, dang, if he was, like, really going hard on me, like, strength and technique, I would die.
You'd have to start fighting dirty.
Do you use strength in competition?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I melt people like butter. Because I don't use strength while I'm rolling at the gym. But like when I turn it into competition, that technique goes like
Yeah.
Then.
But that's why I really, really, really love rolling with brand new male white belts, because I really think that they're like your biggest test. Like, I don't think that going against a purple belt or me going against a brown belt is my biggest test, because that's not who's going to be really attacking me on the street, right? Like, someone who is brand new, has no experience, but they just have their brute strength is who's going to try to kidnap you. So I always like to go, like, straight for them. Like, if they're sitting on the bench, I go up to them, like, we're rolling now. And then I go get them, and then I just like to see, like, how quick am I? Like, even if I'm stuck underneath you because of your strength, can you submit me? Can you punch me? Can you really do anything to me? Or am I doing a good enough job in defending that you won't be able to do anything? And then by the time that you're tired, I'll be able to attack you. And I use that mentality a lot.
I like that, yeah.
Do you ever do that? You should do that.
You're like, you should do that. Yeah, I never think about that when I'm rolling, like, if this is a good position to be in, if, like, we were in a street fight. Like, that's never crossed my mind.
Okay.
That is good.
I actually feel comfortable in bottom side control now. Just because as long as I can...
You need to roll with your dad more.
Well, I'm actually kind of getting to that point where, like, I feel fine in bottom side control from a brand new person.
Okay,
I don't feel very comfortable under Garrick anymore. Because then you have people like Garrick who were very, very, very strong, are very, very strong. Yeah. And now they're adding that technique to their strength, but he also doesn't quite yet know how to tone the strength down, but he's like very excited about his technique. And so you're just stuck. And you just can't move, and you can't do anything. And he submitted me now. So I'm just like, dang it, bro, I can't get here anymore. But, yeah, so I always try to put myself in the bad positions and then tell myself, because that's what Elio did, is he would just wait for his opponent to get tired, and that's how he could go for 2-3 hours at a time, because he would just wait for his opponent to, like, slow down. And as long as you don't get submitted, you're fine. And that's what we say about competition, too, is, like, if you get submitted, you would die. Like, in a street fight, you would straight up die. So you have to learn defense over anything. And I think when I'm in bottom side control, the only reason I get upset is when I'm in bottom side control is because I think about it and I'm just like, I would lose on points right now. And that's it. Yeah. Like, not because I'm afraid I'm going to get submitted unless I'm going against someone good. But, like, if I'm under bottom side control, I'm like, ugh, I'm losing points now.
Yeah.
It's not.
My guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope if I was in a 3-hour street fight, somebody would call the cops before.
You'd hope, yeah.
Before I was able to win. But I think I could do it.
I have no doubts.
I don't think an attacker would be able to fight me for 3 hours.
Probably not.
No. All they would see is ass and legs.
They'd be annoyed.
Yeah, they'd be like,
this is bullshit. I'm getting out of here.
I don't know what to do. I'm leaving.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like we didn't talk too much about being a smaller grappler. Was there anything else on your mind at all before we wrap up? putting you on the spot.
Okay.
How do you feel as a smaller grappler?
Like I said, I push myself to go against people who make me uncomfortable just to see how I could do. Like, that's my biggest accomplishment.
That's why you roll with me so often.
But no, like, there's a lot of females who are very intimidated by newer white belts. Like, they don't want to roll with them. And that's understandable. I definitely I get that. I wouldn't force anyone to do it. But I push myself to do it. Like, especially on the days that I'm tired, too. Like, no offense if you're listening to this, Michael and Garrick, but you two are, like, my hardest rolls right now. And if I'm tired, I push myself to still go with them. Because Michael and Garrick are now... They're still white belts, but they're, like, strong. They are strong. And they're getting good. Like, their technique is getting really good. Yeah. So I always try to push myself to go with them, and I try to push myself to go with the newer people, just so I can see where my defense really is. And then I'll go with people like Nick and Dave, just so I can get demolished. But
yeah. I feel like Nick, Dave, Ellie.
Yeah.
You're just like, I just signed up for ass whooping. Let's do it.
Right. Yeah, the purple belts. And then when Miguel's there, Miguel can do a pretty good job, too. So...
But I do like rolling with Garrick. I think it's a lot of fun.
He's probably not that mean to you. He's pretty mean to me now.
He's not that mean.
Wait, you wait.
It's coming.
No, I love Garrick. I actually told him last week, because he's just getting back on the mat after his injury. And I told him, I was like, keep doing that. Because I think he thought he was being too mean to me with his side control. And I was like, no, keep doing that. And he's like, really? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I want all of it. I want all the pressure. Because I need to learn how to get... I was like, I need to learn to get out of that. So yes, keep doing it. So the second time we rolled, yep, he sure did it. And I was stuck in for 3 minutes.
You're like, I'm just going to lay here.
But that was kind of that's where my brain went again, is I was just like, this dude, like, he knows how to submit me, but I'm not going to let him submit me. So I'm going to chill here until he gives me enough space that I can move. And now, Garrick, I'm giving you my secret. But so I'm just letting Garrick wear himself out, because he will wear himself out in a 5-minute match. And then I just move.
I'll teach you how to get out. You just got to vibrate a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was super fun. Lots of laughs.
It was fun.
We'll have to definitely edit this audio to tone down all the laughs a little bit. So sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I'm really excited to think about everybody's SpongeBob characters, though.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yes. But, well, thank you for coming on and
Thanks
coming over, hanging out with us today. It was fun.
It was fun.
And we wanted to definitely have a female on today so we could talk about being a smaller grappler. And then we're doing it in honor of our women's open mat today. We are starting a monthly women's open mat. And it's going to be at a different gym throughout the southeast of Wisconsin throughout the rest of the year. And the first one starts today, kicks off at Fluid. Mm-hmm. This probably doesn't come out till tomorrow, so it sucks to be you if you didn't hear it. But the next month, I believe it falls on August 14th, because it's going to be the second Sunday of every month. Next month is going to be at Nutriground. So
what's Nutriground?
I think Bayview. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's Bayview.
Cool.
And then the third month will be at a different gym, and the fourth month will be at a different gym from that, and it's just going to keep carrying on. And I think Megan planned for like 12 months. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very exciting. The schedule's out there somewhere. Maybe we'll find it and post it.
I am genuinely sad. I'm not going to all of these.
I'll give you Kaylee's also wig, and you can totally just rock.
Why don't you go to Primal?
Thanks.
You should go to Primal today. If you really want to train.
We'll see.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank you. And I hope you guys have a great week of